Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is May 23rd, and today Acuna plays baseball. Is Baltimore dead already? Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? The end of the week here is Friday, and we're almost at the end of the month of May. It's crazy that we're somehow already almost a third of the season down, with NHL and NBA playoffs in full swing, among other sports going on. It is crazy to see how the season has progressed already so far, and who leads in stats and which teams are good, which teams aren't. It's kind of getting to that point of like, we're almost at the All-Star, like kind of like where we start talking about All-Stars and who's going to make that game. But with that all being said, how about we dive into today's episode and get going with our series recap. Leading us off, we've got the Padres in Toronto take on the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays got hot with their hitting and their pitching. 3-0 in the first game and 14-0 in the second game. Vladdy, Santander go deep. Lucas with a home run. Varsho a grand slam. That split across those two games. And in that last game, Gavin Sheets hit a two home run game for Sheets. That second home run sent the game to extras, where it is Nathan Lucas who gets the walk-off single. What a series for him, and what a series for the Blue Jays. They win the last game 7-6 and sweep the Padres. Mets and Red Sox. The Red Sox take over the first two games with a 3-1 win and a 2-0 win. Carlos Nevares and Rafael Devers, two solo shots in that game. But in the final game, Brett Beatty, been hot, 3 RBI day for him. Lindor gets the home run late. 5-1 Mets. The Red Sox, though, take 2 of 3 from the Mets there. Rangers and Yankees, and it is Yankee Central. Ben Rice, Aaron Judge, both of them homer to a 5-2 victory. Jake Berger gets a 2-homer game for Texas. Sam Haggerty goes deep for Texas as well. All 3 of those solo shots, though. Bellinger hits a home run, and how about Jason Dominguez with the game tied in the 9th? He hits his first career walk-off home run. The Martian Man himself leads the Yankees to a 4-3 win. And speaking of first careers, how about Jorbit Vivas with his first career MLB home run, the only run in that third game. The Yankees win it 1-0, and they get the sweep on the Rangers. Astros and Rays. The Astros with Victor Caratini, Jake Myers, they hit homers in the first game. Jansen goes deep as well, but the Astros take a 4-3 win. But here comes Tampa. They win the second game 3-2 with a walk-off sac fly thanks to Taylor Walls. And in the last game, Isaac Paredes hits a 2-homer game. He had 3 home runs in the series, but the Rays went homer crazy as well. Curtis Mead, Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau, Yandy Diaz, 4 Rays home runs lead to an 8-4 victory, and Tampa Bay takes 2 of 3 from the Astros. Guardians and Twins. The Twins get a walk-off win thanks to Cody Clemens, who hits a walk-off double. The Guardians scored 2 in the 9th to tie this one, but the Twins thankfully hold on to a 6-5 win. The second game gets rained out, and that one is to be made up on September 20th, so this 3-game set's a 2-game set. And the Guardians take the third game, or the second game of the series here. Santana. He gets his second home run of the series here. It's a 5-1 Guardians win. The two teams split the 2 games, one apiece there. Mariners and White Sox, and it's my boy Julio with a grand slam in the opener. That takes a 5-1 Mariners win. The White Sox get a 1-0 win in Game 2. And then in the third game, it's Julio once again. And he's joined by Cal Raleigh and Leody Taveras. Tavares' homer was a go-ahead 2-run shot in the 8th. And that would be the difference in the 6-5 Mariners win, as the Seattle Mariners take 2 of 3 from the Chicago White Sox. Angels and A's for a 4-game set. And holy halo, it's all Angels. Nolan Schanuel, a home run. Taylor Ward, he had 2 home runs in the series, including a go-ahead grand slam in the 4th game. Moncada went deep, Netta went deep, Adele went deep. All those Angels were on a roll. Not to say that the A's were not hitting bombs. Langoliers hits a homer in the 2nd game. Butler goes deep in the 3rd game. But how about Nick Kurtz after hitting his first career home run against the Dodgers? He had 3 in the series, 1 in game 2, and how about 2 in game 3, a 2-homer day for him. But the star of the series, Logan O'Hoppe, 4 games, 4 home runs, 2 of which coming in game 3, and one of those was a 470-foot bomb. O'Hoppe with 4 home runs. The Angels sweep the 4-game series against the A's with scores 4-3, 7-5, 10-5, and deja vu because it's 10-5 again. The Angels on a hot streak, and the A's ice cold. Braves and Nationals. Now the Nationals bring it out early in game 1. Dylan Cruz gets a home run to help them to a 5-3 win. Olsen went deep in that game. He also went deep in the 3rd game, or should I say the 2nd game, because the Braves and Nats also had a rainout game, and that is also to be made up on September 16th. But in that other game, Ozuna also went deep. And how about Robert Hassel III making his MLB debut, getting his first MLB hit, and also scored the winning run thanks to Ahmed Rosario, who in the 10th gets the walk-off single. The Nationals beat the Braves for both games in this series, with that 3rd game being made up, or the 2nd game later on. Nats take the 2. Cubs and Marlins. The Marlins had some luck in the opener. Jesus Sanchez goes deep. Agustin Ramirez goes deep for the Marlins. Miguel Maya deep for the Cubs, but it's Jesus Sanchez and the Marlins who get the last laugh. Down by 1 with 2 on. Jesus Sanchez ropes one down the right field line. That's a walk-off triple as the 2 runs come to score. The Marlins win a wild one, 8-7. The Cubs don't take too kindly to that and score 16 runs in 2 games. They scored 14 in the 2nd game thanks to Tucker and Suzuki both going deep, a 14-1 victory there. And then Kyle Tucker, he homers again in the 3rd game. He got both of the Cubs' RBIs, and that's enough for Chicago. They win it 2-1 and take 2 of 3 against the Marlins. Orioles and Brewers. The Brew Crew was up early in this series, 5-4 in the opener, 5-2 in game 2. Terang, Frelick, and Hoskins all going deep in that one. Hoskins also went deep in game 3, but it was Baltimore who was clutch finally in the 11th inning. It's Adley Rutschman. They need him to go. He hits a 3-run home run in the 11th that helps Baltimore avoid the sweep. They win it 8-4, but the Brewers still take 2 of 3. Tigers and Cardinals. Pedro Pages gets a home run in the opener as the Cardinals score 11 straight for an 11-4 victory. Then in game 2, it's Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green who hit the homers for the Tigers. Green had the go-ahead double in the 9th as well. That gave the Tigers the win 5-4, and that would carry through into the final game with a 5-1 victory, with Detroit taking 2 of 3 from St. Louis. The Reds and Pirates. The Reds put up all of their offense really in the first game, a 7-1 victory there, but here come the Pirates with a 1-0 win and a 3-1 win. The Pirates taking 2 of 3 from the Reds in what was little offense in this one. D-backs and Dodgers now. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Gabriel Moreno, what a trade that was for the Diamondbacks, as well as Geraldo Perdomo. All 3 of those D-backs go deep. Mookie Betts gets a 2-homer game. It's a 9-5 Arizona win for the opener. Dodgers come back, though, after a crazy game to Gabriel Moreno, game-tying home run in the 9th. Corbin Carroll, a huge home run off of Tanner Scott to put the D-backs up. The Dodgers tie it in the 10th, and then Max Muncy wins it with a walk-off sacs fly. Dodgers win it 4-3, and then Ketel Marte hits a solo shot on the 3rd game. Teoscar Hernandez hits a 3-run home run in that game, and the difference there, well, it's that home run. 3-1 Dodgers. They take 2 of 3 from the D-backs, win that one 3-1. Phillies and Rockies play a 4-game set. Phillies, a top team in the league, of Rockies, the worst team in the league. So how do you expect this one to go? Schwarber had 2 home runs in the series. Bohm went deep. Sosa went deep. Real Muto went deep. Turner and Harper, sorry Nationals fans, they went back-to-back, all of those Nats going deep in the series. And would you expect anything less? The Phillies win it 9-3, 7-4, 9-5, and 2-0. They get the 4-game sweep on the Rockies. How do you like that? And that brings us to the Royals and the Giants, the last series here. Vinny Pasquantino gets the go-ahead home run in the 8th. That leads to a 3-1 Royals win. Giants get their get-backs, though, evening up the series 3-2 in Game 2. And then in the 3rd game, the Giants had Matt Chapman, Heliot Ramos, and Patrick Bailey all go deep. The problem is they needed more, because Salvador Perez went deep for the Royals. The Royals scored 8 runs on 16 hits as they win it 8-4. They take 2 of 3 from the Giants, and that's your series recap. Let's get into the game of the week here. We're taking you to LA for the D-backs versus the Dodgers in that 2nd game. Nothing crazy offensively, but boy, was it fun in those last 2 innings. Bottom 4th is where the scoring gets going, and it's Will Smith, who's been really good for the Dodgers this year. He gets an RBI double. Dodgers take a 1-0 lead, and it would stay that way. It was a very heavy pitching duel. Yamamoto was amazing. 7 innings, 1 hit, 9 strikeouts for him. Ryan Nelson, on the other hand, 5 innings, 3 hits. The bullpen was pretty good for the Diamondbacks from that point on. We went to the 9th inning where the D-backs were down to their final couple of moments here in this game. Gabriel Moreno hits his 3rd home run of the year. Solo shot ties the game up at 1-1. D-backs have life, and they have momentum as this game gets pushed into extras. Corbin Carroll, the lefty, facing Tanner Scott, the lefty, hits a huge and clutch 2-run home run. Carroll's 15th home run on the year. That power swing, that new swing of his, is putting in numbers. D-backs were looking good entering the bottom of the 10th, but the Dodgers are the Dodgers. You can't count them out. Tommy Edman gets an RBI double to score a run. Will Smith, now with the bases loaded, gets hit by a pitch, and it's 3-3 all of a sudden, and only 1 out in the inning. Upsets Max Muncy. He wears glasses now in case you didn't know, and he hits the sac fly. In comes Shohei to score, and the Dodgers win it 4-3 on a walk-off from Muncy. Diamondbacks had a real shot, the home run from Moreno to tie it, the 2-run shot from Carroll, but in the end, the Dodgers score 3 in the 10th, win it 4-3, and that is your game of the week. Great game, and great week for baseball. So let's get into the baseball news, and I want to start by talking about some teams that are streaky right now. We've got some, impressive teams that are on winning and losing streaks of at least 5 or more games here. Starting with the big winners, the Angels have slowly started to turn their season around. They were really hot. They were a top team in baseball through the first couple of weeks, and then hit a wall and fell off hard. But recently, this past week, they have been on a heater. 7 straight wins from them. And the Phillies, 7 straight wins as well. They've turned the tides in the NL East and turned the tides in the NL in general. Those 2 teams are hot. And how about the Nationals for a little bit of fun? They're on a 5-game winning streak as well. They take back, I believe, 3rd place from the Braves in the NL East. I believe maybe not quite yet. I think they're still a game or 2 away from doing that. But still, 5-game winning streak will help you out in the long run as well. So those are some hot teams, but we have a lot more cold teams. Of course, the Rockies have lost 5. Nothing new there. I talked about, let's see how the Rocky seasons go. They're 8-38. If they can win 2 before they lose 2, well, they got swept. They lost 4. They're at 8-42 and are on pace to break the White Sox record from last year by a couple of games. Not great if you're a Rockies fan there. But then you have a couple of more worrisome, losing streaks here. We mentioned the Angels on a 7-game winning streak. The A's are on a 9-game losing streak. Of course, both those teams are at the bottom of the AL West right now. But the Angels were well last. The A's were kind of third, fourth, battling there. Losing 9 will definitely put you last. They're now 22-29. They were 22-20. They were feeling good. They were kind of in that, weird hunt for a wild card spot, and then they've lost 9 straight. It's been a brutal stretch from the A's, but they are not alone in brutal stretches. Definitely 9 straight's the most brutal, but the Padres have lost 6 straight, and that has been substantial. They've gotten passed by the Giants now. They're now 3 games back of the Dodgers, a game back of the Giants, and only now 2 games ahead of the Diamondbacks. Of course, they just got swept by the Blue Jays this past week, and they need to figure it out. Not sure if it's the pitching or the hitting, but a 6-game losing streak for a team such as the Padres, I mean, this is kind of a season-defining moment. They need to get some wins on the board, and ASAP. And what about Baltimore, man? Before they won, they finished, of course, the last game against the Brewers, to avoid the sweep, the Adley 3-run clutch home run. Before that win, Baltimore was on an 8-game losing streak. Yes, the Baltimore Orioles were on an 8-game losing streak, and if they had lost that game, if Adley didn't hit that home run and they lost that game, they would be in the same boat as the A's with 9-game losing streaks. The difference is the A's kind of still have a chance to, maybe make some noise this season. But is Baltimore's time for 2025 here, is it running out? Is it done? Is the Baltimore Orioles dead? And that's kind of the question here, because we've seen the Twins in a 13-game winning streak and how it's turned their season to life. I kind of ruled the Twins out. I still don't believe in the Twins much in terms of, this season as a whole. But hey, they're 27-22, and that 13-game winning streak was a big reason why they're third instead of fourth, and not to say that, but the AL Central is that good. Baltimore, on the other hand, they're 16-32. We're about to be at the 50th game of the season already, and they're 16-32. They're 2-8 in their last 10, obviously, the 8-game losing streak. They're 13.5 games back of the Yankees in the East, and already 10.5 games back of the wild card as a whole. When you look at the 30 teams in baseball, the 3 teams worse than Baltimore are the White Sox, the Pirates, and the Rockies. That is not the company you want to be a part of. The fact that the Marlins are still better than Baltimore, I mean, can a 13-game winning streak save Baltimore's season? I have no idea. The pitching is just flip a coin and it's coming up tails each and every time. It's not just one guy. It's, Morton and Povich and Sagano. It's just not happening. And even if they do get a good start, the bullpen blows it. And even if the pitching is so solid they can keep the opposing team to just 1 or 2 runs, there's no offense. Guys like Adley and Gunnar have not been consistent enough. Jackson Holliday's kind of been the big key, he's done okay, but there's no consistency. Mullins has been meh. Mountcastle, meh. Laureano, the fact that he's your starting left fielder, he's been playing, and he's been playing right field and left field, meh. It's just been bad, and there hasn't been a saving grace. I look at this team and I'm seeing names that I know and names that I'm like, oh, these guys are guys. Gunnar is a guy. Adley, a guy. Mullins, Kerstad, guys. Eflin, a guy. These are huge names. Felix Bautista is a guy. It's just, he's supposed to be the guy for Baltimore. He had a blown save on Wednesday. That is not a guy. That's struggling. Cano struggling. Dominguez, man. It's just not happening. And I mean, could you say Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez, Tyler Wells, those guys on the IL, could 2 of them potentially come back? Of course, Wells and Bradish probably not. They had UCL surgeries, Tommy John surgery. Grayson Rodriguez, He's had elbow inflammation. He's been on the IL since, I believe, the start of March. So he hasn't gotten into a game yet this season. Is he going to be close to a return soon? Because that shaped this team, or are they just going to be, the season already over and it's going to be, let's trade Gary Sanchez and let's trade whoever we can that's on contract years that can kind of help us. It's 16:32 already. You're already, what, 5 games back of the Rays for 4th? There's a huge gap already forming here. And yes, we know it's still technically early. We're not even 33% of the season done, but it's just, we're already at this point where it kind of feels like Baltimore's season is over. And at least that's how I feel like it. And, like I said, all this talent, we're still waiting to see it click. So we'll have to see if Baltimore is able to turn their season around, or is this just a write-off season and they're going to just kind of retool and reform and get some pitching, for crying out loud, for next season, because that's going to be the difference there. Moving on here, still talking about these streaky teams. The Phillies, we mentioned, 7-game winning streak. What does that do for you? Well, it gets you a lot of confidence, but also gets you the division from a struggling Mets team. How about that? The Mets, who have been in first in the NL East, going back all the way to the beginning of April, really, about April 13th, I believe. April 12th was around that time they took over and had sole possession of first place. They had it for a long time, and now it is the Phillies. Obviously, a 7-game winning streak helps, but it also helps when the Mets, in the last 2 weeks, in the last 4 series, they are 6-6 in their last 12, while the Phillies are 10-2. That's a 4-game difference there, and that's enough for the Phillies to take that lead right now. And they have a now 2-game lead over the Mets. The Phillies at 32-18 through their first 50 games of the season. The Mets 30-20, so 2-game difference between those two teams. The Braves still a little bit ways out, back to below 500 after getting the 2-game loss against the Nationals this past week, 24-25. But 7-game winning streak, Mets playing mediocre, all things considering, great for the Phillies. That's what you want, and that's why they are at the top now. Moving on to some other news here, I want to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates, and something I saw on social media the past day here. Did you know, I did not know this until I read it, the Pirates had 26 straight games with 4 or less runs. 26 straight games, almost a full month of not being able to score a 5th run in a game. That tied the longest streak in MLB history in the modern era. And I say tie and not broken because they did get that 5th run yesterday against the Brewers. Obviously, we won't be talking about that game too much because that's the start of a 4-game series over the weekend between the Pirates and the Brewers. But they did get that 5th game, but it was 26 straight games with 4 or less runs. The last time they scored more than 4 runs, you have to go back all the way to April 22nd. So yeah, it was a month. Obviously they have a couple of off days, but a month of baseball where you could not score a 5th run. April 22nd against the Angels, the Pirates won that game 9-3. And since that 9 runs, they were not able to get 5. And in that streak, and in the month really since that time, they went 8-18. And you're thinking obviously that sucks for them, but obviously they're still a bad team, and getting a couple extra runs doesn't really matter. Well, I went through the schedule. It kind of did matter because of those 18 games that the Pirates lost, 7 of which were 1-run losses, either 1-0 losses, 2-1, 3-2, or 4-3. They lost 7 of those games. So if you just said the Pirates could score 2 runs more in each of those games, that's 7 wins that they can add on their column. Take away those 7 losses. That changes the season completely. And that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, you can have the best pitcher in the world in Paul Skeens and some really great, defensive players. But if you can't score runs, you won't be winning ball games. And where does that leave you? one of the worst teams in baseball. And it's a tough streak, but hopefully with their 5 runs yesterday, that will help the offense start to click here. They get Spencer Horwitz back from the IL. He played in his first couple of games this past week, really. Has his first Pirates hit. His first Pirates home run came yesterday against the Brewers as well. So you get Horwitz going. You get O'Neill kind of going again. Brian Reynolds needs to kind of get his season figured out and going. He's been slumping hard, but if the Pirates can score some offense, who knows what they can do. But yeah, they just gotta, score that offense there. So we'll see. The last bit of baseball news to go into is the most exciting baseball news, the news that I am extremely excited about. The Braves are getting some reinforcements, and by some, I mean one, and one man in particular. You might know his name. His name is Ronald Acuna Jr. He is planning on being activated today for his season debut. Nearly a full year to date. The last time he played in a major league game, you got to go all the way back nearly a year ago. 362 days Acuna has been out and on the IL, but he is back. He is healthy. We've seen him hit a couple of bombs in his rehab starts. He seems ready to go, and he is getting the start today for the Braves if all things go according to plan between now and when the Braves take the field later today. It's huge. It's a season-changing player, a guy who is the face of the franchise and a guy who will be a huge stepping stone for the Braves. If he can stay healthy, he can provide a spark for these Braves. Let me tell you, watch what happens to Atlanta. Obviously, you've got Ozuna has been good, Olsen, Riley, that's some solid guys. Drake Baldwin's kind of been, the top NL prospect this year so far, catching right now with Sean Murphy kind of platooning there. You got Ozzy at second, Michael Harrison center. All things considering, the 1 through 8 right now, when you throw an Acuna to that mix, the offense all of a sudden gets going. And what does that do for the pitching? Well, guess what? Guys like Sale and Schwellenbach and Strider start to get more confidence and they get going. So they have a series up against the Padres now, which is just kind of the perfect time. The Padres are on that 6-game losing streak. They're slumping. You get Acuna back. You have momentum. If the Padres, with the way they've been slumping, the Braves can easily take 2 of 3 from this series, if not sweep. They got Sale, Holmes, and Schwellenbach in the series here for their starters. So, today should be a good game for the Braves. You got Sale going. You got your triple, your Triple Crown winner, Cy Young guy, and you get Acuna back, your MVP. So, Braves right now, you're feeling good. Hopefully Acuna can provide a spark, and I'm very excited to have him back, and definitely be trying to watch the Braves game later today. So very excited for that going forward here. So that is all of the baseball news. Let's get into the injury updates from the past week here. Reese Olson from the Tigers lands on the 15-day IL with a right ring finger injury. Justin Verlander, 15-day IL for him, a strained pectoral. Chase Dollander in his rookie season, 15-day IL stint with the Rockies, forearm tightness for him. Ronald Blanco on the 15-day IL with elbow inflammation for the Astros. Will Brennan on the 10-day IL with forearm inflammation. And lastly, Dylan Cruz, rookie for the Nationals, on the 10-day IL with a strained oblique. So hopefully these guys, will take a week, take 2 weeks. Hopefully some of them can come back soon and get back to doing what they do. The outstanding performances from the week here. Nick Lodolo continues his great season. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 7 Ks. Luis Castillo, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks. Sonny Gray, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts for him. How about this pitcher's duel? Robbie Ray versus Chris Bubich. Robbie Ray with 7 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks, while Bubich with 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 5 Ks. Great stuff for those guys. Bailey Falter from the Pirates, 7 innings of work, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks. Jesus Luzardo continues to be amazing for the Phillies. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Every time this guy pitches, the trade looks better and better for Philly. Adrian Hauser with his White Sox debut, 6 innings of work, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 2 Ks. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 7 innings of work, a hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 9 Ks. Carlos Rodon, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. And how about Kevin Gausman, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 9 Ks. Things you just absolutely love to see. And I mean absolutely love to see it. The stat leaderboard has a few changes, but nothing drastic. Aaron Judge, tough week for him. His average drops below 400 to 396. Still leads in hits, though, at 74, but no longer is tied for the lead in home runs because Schwarber and Ohtani got the better of him this week. Both of them are tied with 17 big flies. Judge still leads in RBIs, though, with 44. Ohtani still leads in runs with 52. Ozuna still leads in walks with 41. Step aside, Luis Robert Jr. inserting back to the top is O'Neal Cruz. He has 18 stolen bases on the year. Judge still leads in OPS, of course, 1.229 for your hitters. I want to say special thanks to Brandon Pfaadt because his win on Monday against the Dodgers means he is finally standing alone atop. Finally, there was just one person who leads the league in wins. Brandon Pfaadt with 7 wins on the season. No one else has 7. A few guys have 6. Max Fried still leads in ERA up to 1.29. And if I say up, I meant down, I guess, because, it was 1.11 and now it's 1.29. Is what it is. Mackenzie Gore still leads in strikeouts. He had a great K performance for him. 84 punch-outs for Mackenzie Gore, still leading in strikeouts. And move aside Robert Suarez because Andres Munoz is here. 16 saves on the year, passing Suarez, who's at 15. Munoz still has not given up an earned run, I guess, this season. His ERA, 0. He's been fantastic for Seattle, who is still atop the AL West as it stands currently. Moving on here, let's get into the upcoming series for the weekend here. There are some good ones. Baltimore is in Fenway to take on the Red Sox. Blue Jays take a trip to Steinbrenner to take on the Rays. Royals and Twins, battles of 3rd and 4th in the Central. Even better, Guardians and Tigers. These two faced off in the ALDS last year. They're the 1 and 2 seeds in the Central. Guardians 5 games back. They could take a huge chunk out of the Tigers. They have a 4-game series. That could be huge. Rangers taking on the White Sox. Mariners at Astros. This is also a fun 4-game series between the 1st and 2nd seeds of the AL West. The Astros 2.5 back of the Mariners. So we could be sitting here talking on Monday about how the Astros, swept or took 3 of 4 and are, atop of the AL West or half a game out. Like, it's good stuff here and a big series for those teams. Phillies at A's, Marlins at Angels, Padres at Braves, we mentioned that. Giants at Nationals, Dodgers at Mets. That's a fun one. NLCS rematch right there. Cubs and Reds, Brewers and Pirates, D-backs at Cardinals, and lastly, the Yankees are in Coors to take on the Rockies. That series definitely has the makings of getting ugly. For our playoff predictor, if the season ended today, the Royals in the 6th seed would be taking on the Mariners in the 3 seed. Twins in the 5 seed taking on the Guardians in the 4 seed. Royals beat the Mariners. Guardians beat the Twins, so the ALDS matchup is the same as last year. Royals and Yankees, Guardians and Tigers. And like last year, the Yankees beat the Royals, the Guardians beat the Tigers, so the ALCS matchup is the same as last year. And the Yankees once again beat the Guardians. They head back to the World Series. On the NL side, the Padres, despite a 6-game losing streak, still held on to a playoff spot. They are the 6th seed, taking on the Cubs in the 3 seed. Giants in the 5 seed, taking on the Mets in the 4 seed. Cubs beat the Padres. Giants upset the Mets. How do you like that? Our NLDS matchup is Cubs and Dodgers, Giants and Phillies. And of course, the top 2 teams, they're the top 2 teams for the reason. Dodgers beat the Cubs. Phillies beat the Giants. So our NLCS matchup, Dodgers at Phillies. And it's once again the Philadelphia Phillies who beat the Dodgers. So our World Series matchup, it's the same one from last week. Yankees and Phillies. And it's the same result. The Phillies would be your 2025 World Series champions if the season started today. I wonder if I've ever had the same World Series matchup, the same outcome 2 weeks in a row, going back to last year and the year before that. That'd be pretty interesting to think about. But yeah, last week's results, Phillies over Yankees. This week's results, Phillies over Yankees. And that is going to do it for our episode here today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, so much for clicking on this video, tuning in, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you're listening from. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you, everybody, so much, and I will see you on Monday.